Hi and welcome along to DR Sports. We are here for another Truth or Trash, the Tottenham edition.
This should be fun.
Of course, it couldn't be a Tottenham
Just
edition.
tell the truth,
Not
okay?
joined
I
by
do
Abby
tell the
Summers.
truth.
Okay, that's fine. Don't think with emotion. Like we want you to think with logic, calmness.
This is settled.
You know, we want you to think clearly as well, and just like think about what you're saying. That's
Okay,
what we want.
We got
Innit?
Matisse, we got Doyle. I'm here. Of course, we got Flex and Abby. It's the Tottenham edition. Let's get straight into it. Question number one: since the Champions League final, Spurs have amassed a net spend of £748 million, the fifth highest in the Premier League. Is it fair to say that Daniel Levy has tried to spend but has just done it poorly?
I mean, if that's a fact that they spent that much money, I didn't know that.
I didn't
That's
know it was
ridiculous.
that.
Wow.
I didn't know it was that.
So he's tried, bless him.
So he's tried, hasn't it?
Tried
You haven't got the
and
answers
failed.
on that, have you, Robin?
Well, it's
Tried
for
and
us to
failed.
give the answers, but
Let's just think about who's been signed in that time. So I can think, and Ndombele was the record signing.
Basuma.
big
Richarlison. Right, so
Solanke.
Ndombele, I'd like to
Solanke,
have the
big
list
piece.
of actually who was in that. So
Most
Ndombele.
expensive, Solanke,
Maddison.
Ndombele.
So Solanke I've got no issue with. I don't have any problem with Solanke
Maddison
whatsoever.
40.
Yeah.
Madison 40.
Basuma
Kulusevski,
25.
Bentancur. So these are some current ones. I'm thinking like after Poch left, like in the Jose era, like a Matt Doherty. We had Bale on loan.
Mickey van der Ven.
Mickey van der
Reguilon.
Ven.
Reguilon, yeah.
Still there, sitting there.
Cardio.
Basuma.
Fraser Forster, he signed him.
Sarr, Forster,
Pedro Porro.
Vicario, Porro,
What's his name?
Oh, what's my man's
yeah,
name?
Romero.
Oh, what's it? Oh no, Bergwijn was already there, isn't it? That wasn't.
No,
He played in that.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah,
He played, yeah.
Oh, no,
Please,
right. Oh,
please,
yeah, you mean that.
Anyway,
listen,
there's-
whilst you're going through all of them,
Well,
I
I
mean,
just was going to say.
yeah, he has backed.
There's-
He has
there's
backed the
been-
managers with a lot of signings. That's a
but
big net
but
spend.
some haven't been
That's
very
more than
good.
Liverpool, I think.
Some haven't been very good. So, as in, if the recruitment was done right and you were building for a system, I think it hasn't changed your chopping and changing managers all the time.
But fair to
If
say
only-
Truthful
that
statement.
If only he wouldn't have sacked Pochettino 3 months after getting to a Champions League final and actually had allowed him to rebuild a
Yeah,
team
let
that
him
he
do
didn't
it,
get to
yeah.
build, where would Spurs be now? That's always the question I will always hold.
But fair to say that he's put his money where the mouth is.
Yeah.
Well, it's all stuff that's been regenerated by
I'd
the
like to
club,
know
yeah.
the net spend.
780.
That is
isn't
the
it?
net spend.
780, lad.
That's the net spend.
Are you sure?
And that's the facts that have been given to me by the team. That is a massive net spend of £740 million.
740.
It's a lot of money.
So that's in 6
fifth
years.
highest,
That's in
fifth
six-
highest in the Premier League
20, 21, 2,
Wow.
3. That's in 5.5, 6 years.
That's more than Liverpool, I think, you know.
since the Champions League final. It's a lot.
With the new stadium, the revenue, the Super Bowl, the Beyonce,
Yeah.
you'd want to spend
Yeah,
that much.
F1.
AJ
State-
Price.
F1, rock
Well,
climbing.
So he has given them a lot of money.
But it's never the argument that we had. Well, in the last couple of years, it's not the argument that we've not spent money. The argument is we haven't bought the players that are needed, the quality that's needed. You can spend money all you like.
The wage bill.
But
is
he,
maybe
Levy,
one of
who
the
gets,
And the penny
the
pinching.
Yeah, the penny
No, but
pinching,
I'm
the
just
wage
saying-
bill, still always having the cap. The amount of good quality players that would have benefited Spurs, that should have signed for Spurs and wanted to sign for Spurs in various projects, but ended up going to a Liverpool, a Chelsea, United, whoever, because of the wages. So yeah,
And sometimes they do just reject because it's
Lack of
Yeah, say
trophies.
they say no,
Definitely
yeah.
lack
Okay.
of trophies.
yeah, I know.
All right, let me.
Ceiling.
All right, let's we got another question here.
I will dash this at you.
Another question.
Yeah.
Ange Postecoglou will win a trophy for Tottenham.
I'm not even here to do a joke thing.
Yeah, just
Like-
that's what you believe. That's okay.
We just sort that because I know you.
DNA, remember, it's the DNA.
Because I know I said we want you to think clearly and not without emotion, but I know that will hurt you doing that. So I'll place that for you, so you don't.
He's only
have
got
to
one trophy left, and he's not winning it, in my opinion.
No.
So
He could win it.
I don't think so.
He's in it, but it doesn't. He's
don't
not
think
going
so.
You've got to be in it to win it, but
Who's left in that?
Doesn't matter.
Honestly, I agree.
It's true. He's right.
We've seen Tottenham go out to Dinamo Zagreb. We've seen Tottenham
That
go
was
out
bad.
to lower league teams, Middlesbroughs. It doesn't matter who it is. It's about the it's about the
mentality of the
mentality.
club.
Yeah, it's
Tottenham
not-
have to go
they
to
don't
like
have that.
Galatasaray over 2
Yeah,
legs.
And also,
Exactly.
I don't
He's
think
done
the
that.
manager.
Oh, no.
They ain't got that.
Listen, the manager does want to be successful, but he's not willing to do things that don't come natural to him to achieve said
Such
success. As in, he won't low block it.
he tried to
He
do
did against
that.
Liverpool.
He did
Yeah,
try
but
to
it's
do
a
that.
it's a rarity. But he doesn't do it often enough. That's why you've maybe partly
Maybe,
why you've lost as many
but-
games as you have.
maybe, but
I don't see him as like when you come to those big knockout games, I don't think he's going to make those tweaks.
Eintracht Frankfurt.
that you gotta make.
Let's be real. Yeah, these are some of the teams that are left in it, right?
Lazio,
So
Lyon.
obviously Manchester United, like you said, they're Lazio, Eintracht Frankfurt, Lyon, Olympiacos, Ajax, Real Sociedad,
But they've
Galatasaray.
still got to win their playoff round.
Yeah, and they still, a lot of them still got to win their playoffs. I mean,
Go
come
far,
on, you've got
but when it comes to, even if you got to the final and like Man United weren't there, like your arseholes would go.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't.
yeah,
back
Manchester
into that.
United and
exactly
Spurs
the
are the favourites to win it.
Yeah, of
Man
course they're
United
the
got to be the
favourites.
favourites, surely.
Actually,
So why can't they win it?
who?
Spurs.
Well, they can win it. It's just whether or not they will win it, which is probably not.
Why?
Because it's the history of Tottenham.
Can't say rant. He's the history of the Tottenham.
Next question, please, Robbie. We all agree on that one. On this
Next
one.
question.
I'm not allowed to lie
Right.
in this. So,
Ange
yeah.
should be sacked by Tottenham.
Yeah, I think he should be.
He's not very good.
Okay. Okay, just me right now.
Reasons why.
The M1 looks lonely.
Why Matisse?
I just think the fit isn't right. There's something about the way that he's been clashing with fans and the intangibles, the optics. For me, it doesn't really align. I think he wants to be stubborn, right? He wants to play his way, and I don't think Tottenham should be in that mold. I think they should be a lot more adaptable. They're not one of the top teams that just get to set their own principles and just not change for anyone. I think when you're in that position where you're floating in European places and you do need to capitalise and maximise every single game, sometimes you do just need to you need to change it up.
What about you, Dora?
The Premier League has 20 managers in it who are probably the 20 best managers in the world. You're not in Scotland anymore, exactly what he's just said, where you can set a precedent of how to play and what's going to happen in that league and dictate it. He's a one-trick pony for me, and once that trick doesn't work, it's game over for him. He tried it in Liverpool, didn't work.
I think, listen.
And also for his mental health, he looks sad. Every single interview, he looks absolutely
If you have a look at
depressed.
every manager that's come and been part of Spurs,
They're not
look
looking
at how
forward.
they started to how they left.
Does Levy have an exit package of full like therapy and
They
all that stuff?
honestly, it's they need honestly like serious psychiatric help after.
Yeah.
That should actually be part of the season ticket package.
Why do you think he should? So you said that he shouldn't be sacked. Why?
Because I see your point. I do see your point. It's the stubbornness at times, and he's quite cantankerous as a character. I get all that, but I've seen it so many times. I just don't want to get another. I'm just not here for having the cycle restart again.
But this is the emotion of like I can't do it. But like
Well,
what's
the
right is
logic-
like this cycle's finished.
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah.
Like there's nothing in it.
But the logic,
prolong
the
the
logic
inevitable.
tells me that like all the managers that came before, when you say about the fit, I mean the only one that was probably really the right fit
Poch.
was Poch. I mean, Redknapp was the
Poch
right
back.
fit for a period. Martin Jol was the right fit for a period. And what I would also say is those three managers in particular have had the longest period of time to develop things and try and build what they want to build. Every other manager has been there for basically 18 months max, 2 years maximum. So that's why I'm kind of like,
Apart from Nuno, he's doing
I'd
really
like
well.
to. Well, like I've always said, I've seen managers sacked for less. So in a way, I'm kind of like, I'm not saying he's the right fit, but
Just hang on
I
and
just
see.
would like to hang on and see how we can finish
After
the
the
season.
World Cup, you should get Poch back.
Okay. Did
what do you do till
Tottenham?
then?
Next question. Did Tottenham sacrifice success for a stadium?
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Success. Wait, what?
Wait, yeah.
I know, yeah, wait,
As
let me
in,
just-
like, what? So they could have stayed there, which
No, wait.
meant they would have won everything, or
I
When
don't-
would they win
I
anything,
mean,
Kevin?
Have they said- wait.
I've gone for trash because I think, listen, it's not like
They weren't winning.
We just spoke about the money
Yeah.
they spent.
No.
Right, they've moved into a
Hold
new
on,
stadium.
I'll tell
That's enabled them to generate more money.
Yeah.
That's enabled to spend more money. I think
in a
unlike
better
when
position
Arsenal,
to try and win.
They've just done
when
it
Arsenal
wrong.
moved into their, or Everton's moved, which was hamstrung them. I don't think it's really hamstrung them.
What
Well,
I
it
would-
has
At
because
all.
they couldn't spend whilst they were building the
Yeah.
stadium.
With the-
And
with
they
the
didn't
manager
give
they should have
Poch-
spent
yeah,
with.
But I think in the next 20, 30, 40 years, they would have had to do what they did anyway.
Sure.
And now they have more revenue and more money to spend,
Yeah.
more money to then make the squad better to win. So I think
Okay.
I think
they've become more sustainable by doing that.
Yeah.
Also,
Like, that's been a good thing.
Which
They
I
weren't
get
winning
that.
much in White Hart Lane anyway, so
No. But I think what is annoying is obviously the time in which the Spurs were building something and they were on an upward
Was your most
trajectory
successful.
was our most successful period. I understand that it didn't come with trophies, but we were on the way to building something, and that was obviously hindered by the stadium and the lack of transfers in that period of time, the lack of money spent almost 2 seasons away from home. So like that did hinder it, and then obviously where it isn't also true is the fact that the manager you should have backed, you sacked.
Do you think you would have won something that period then if you were just focusing on?
I actually do. I think for 2 seasons we accumulated the most points.
Do you know what?
Finished second to Leicester, finished second to Chelsea.
They were knocking on the door.
We were
They
unbeaten at White Hart Lane that last season. We were still decent when we went to Wembley. The problem is we were going stale, and then it became stale because there was no investment, and then he sacked Poch when he should have invested in Poch. That 700 million you mentioned earlier, you've done that on 4 or 5 different managers in that time. You should have given it to the one manager that could have got the job done.
Talking of sacking, our next question is, was sacking Jose Mourinho before the cup final the worst decision ever made?
100%.
Unfathomable.
To put rhyme, and this is where you know obviously more about this than us, but you read the reports that it was about the money and if he has to go.
Crazy.
So
do you know how mental
that
is?
penny pinching mentality that you're talking about of like, I'd rather us be sustainable and just sort the coffers out and that, than like have the best candidate in position to win this one-off game at Wembley.
If you ever want
and I'm going to put Ryan Mason there,
it's literally him,
who has no experience.
game.
The people that say you would have lost anyway.
Nah, you
No,
can't.
no, no,
Jose,
I know you don't.
I
he
don't
was
know.
on himself like and slotted it.
I'm not being funny. Look at Spurs' record against City, right? Randomly, we've got such a good record against them. You sack the one man I would always back and bet on to get you over the line in a final. Shit, how's your way through it?
What he was brought there for.
And you sack him the week of it because you don't want to give him a bonus if he actually did it.
That's crazy.
So then you talk about
is that what it was? Because they thought if he wins this, we're going to have to pay X amount.
They want to give him the
But
bonus.
they gave him that clause. They wanted, see, and this is what you're talking about. They wanted a trophy so bad.
They've
gone, I tell you what,
it.
we're going to put clause 4.6. If you win us a trophy, this is the Carabao Cup as well. We're the FA Cup final, we weren't Europe, we weren't Premier League. Like, this is a Carabao Cup. And we go,
We've
actually,
seen Wigan.
shit, didn't think we'd I didn't think we'd get this far.
We saw
That
Wigan.
money.
I'd
Wigan
love to
beat
know
Man
what the
City
bonus
in
would
the
be.
cup final. Ben
Wow.
Watson.
Leicester beat you.
remember that?
Yes.
In the FA Cup final, like,
when you say about the DNA of the club and where that comes
No,
from.
I get that.
Losers.
That's where it
But
comes
in
from.
my
Right there.
opinion,
that is ingrained.
That
That
money-
is-
Yeah, I have to agree
That
with you on that.
epitomises-
That
Also,
showed a
whatever
lack
you
of
would have paid
ambition
him
that
on
I've
a
never seen
bonus,
before.
think about how much we spent on sacking managers or getting the wrong players.
If that were, I would say, if that were Liverpool, our fans would be out there fuming, mate. That's why you set the tone and culture for your own club, because your fans protest
that's what we're
and
trying
set
to do.
boundaries
That's what we're
around
trying.
their owners to protect them.
But this is also a chairman and a group, an ownership that like when they have like these meetings with the board and with the trust, they don't turn up. So there's absolutely no patience.
wanted
There's
to
no
say we ain't
cohesion.
going.
They just don't turn up. So like the only time you hear of Daniel Levy is A, when it's about balancing the books and how well they've won the spreadsheet for the year, or at the end of the season they won at the end of the season when he does chairman's notes about what a great season it's been.
Yeah.
That's the only time. There's no
You all need
cohesion.
to get
There's
outside
no
your stadium.
conversation.
All right,
Get outside the
next
stadium.
question is,
I hate him.
Spurs at their best play the best football in the league.
Go away. You mad?
They play good football. When
They play all right, yeah.
Flipping
It's
just-
entertaining. They play the
But
most
it's
entertaining football.
because it's like watching basketball.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most
end-to-end.
entertaining.
So
but
you
don't play
know,
the
as a
best.
neutral, guaranteed to get good games.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
might lose and I'll still be entertained.
The best football cannot be that open in defence.
Exactly.
That's the most.
Absolutely.
That's the most.
And that's with all the players back.
entertaining,
That's
I
with
guess,
everyone.
but
That's like the
not the
true
best.
vision of Ange. You know
Yeah.
when it was prime Ange, when you
Yeah.
had all the players
Yeah.
going forward,
But it's fun to
Cario in the
watch.
10, all that funny thing.
entertaining.
That's a load of nonsense.
Entertaining.
best.
No, not the best. Not the best.
And it's ultimately, I know you got injured, but it's ultimately led you to this.
There's no point in entertaining, if everybody else, if you're a fan of that
Exactly.
Yeah.
club. You know what I mean?
Because you could argue that it is the most entertaining because
Yeah, you
like,
may be
look at that.
entertaining
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else.
yeah. It is.
But
chaos.
the first people
It is
you need to
chaotic.
entertain is your own fans.
Yeah.
Right, and that includes attacking and defending. Right, and if you're just like going out there and gun ho and everybody's entertained because you got smashed, right? You know what I mean? That's no good. All right, final question. Tottenham Hotspur. And I didn't write these things, right, by the way, before you start jumping at me. But Tottenham Hotspur can no longer call themselves a Big Six club. Truth or trash?
They should never be
The reason why I'll say trash is because no club
Can step into their place.
step into their place
I
yet.
agree.
They haven't qualified for Champions League consecutive seasons and won something. If they do these things, if they qualify for Champions League 2-3 years in a row and they win cups, then yeah, kick them out.
What have you got?
I'm gonna
You're trying to give me a P45,
I'm
Mike,
gonna
yeah?
say trash because
So am I.
If you're
because of
relegated.
that reason, like you got Newcastle that knocked on the door, Leicester They tried. They were really close with Brendan Rodgers, then fell off. Villa got there last year. Obviously, we're seeing what they're doing. I think we're on the cusp. Like Brighton applying pressure, Bournemouth applying pressure. Those teams fans would be watching this, going, "Look at the big club. Look, who do you think you are? Like we're slapping you guys up right now." I get that, but you're right. You got to start getting over the line. In terms of the consistency of which you
but they don't either, so why are they top six?
But then you don't, it's true, you don't get in there. Leicester have won something more recently.
Yeah, no, but what I would say is also life was there before the Premier League, and I think you always have to look like historic. Obviously, Aston Villa, Everton,
Hold on.
They did more than you.
Hold on. They are all really big clubs as well, but they've gone through the mud over the past few years. Spurs are in a bad situation right now, but in terms of also profit, sustainability, ability to, I guess, attract, which is not looking very attractive right now. I still think that as a thing, don't get me wrong, the way we're going, we ain't considered it. But you're talking about the size of a club as well, when you're talking about a big six club in terms of global following, fan base, things like that, global reach, etc. It's not just about the stuff that happens on the pitch.
So when
it's not like this.
Globally,
Are Tottenham bigger club than Forest?
Probably,
yes.
Yeah, globally,
Flex, it's not like that, it's like that.
I understand. We can keep it like that.
It's truth, but it's flipping to
like,
trash.
It's in the middle.
51-49.
I'm gonna change soon.
It's in the middle, but I think that like all of those clubs are. Like those clubs I mentioned, the Villas, the Newcastles, etc., Forest, whatever, have been successful back in the day, as were Spurs.
If you're still in the same stadium, would you still be saying this?
Because I would, because I also think, like I said, it's about the global reach, and I think that
they finished 5th last year.
That's the argument where
it's a global reach. I think that is ultimately what is done.
And the minute Son leaves, that's done as well.
Well, why do you think they're going to keep him there till he's got no legs left? They'll put him in a coaching role. I'll tell you what, there you go, he'll be the manager. They'll sack Ange and give it to Son.
No, he'll be a club ambassador.
I'm going to, listen people, I'm going to round it off with the truth, right? Because I like Abby. Abby has been brilliant on this channel, great for Weekend Roundup, Weekend Preview, and all the various shows that he does. And if you drop out of the big six, we won't have you. Truth. That's where we'll end. Thank you very much. I prefer Abby. And after last week, right? After last week, I prefer Abby to Matty Renton. Yeah? Truth. Thanks for watching. Right, we'll be back with another edition really, really soon. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports.